Started as an East Coast vibe, now I'm going worldwide. We got this bitch going crazy. I used to take the Mazda for a drive, now I'm on the 405 like it's fuck you, pay me. We really sick of standing outside, had to push them all aside. It's what you get for trying to play me. I bet they make a movie when I die just to talk about my life. They need an actor to portray me. I got this motherfucker clear like an eye drop. I got elevator flow on a high top. I got little something stacked like an IHOP. This is 05, you will put it on your iPod. I'ma give you something that you can't forget.
You're ready for a show? You're ready for a show?
It's about time the kids buzzing. I'm trying to get a peek in the elevator. But if we talking peaks, I need mine like the Himalayas. I'm talking yay high, man. I never had a vertical limit. I ain't seen you put in work in a minute. I gotta put on for the family. That goes for every person that's in it. Used to scrape by working as a service attendant till I got more. Bitch, I ain't comfy. I need the top floor. Doing anything to get that spot for. Pop off. Started as an East Coast vibe, now I'm going worldwide. We got this bitch going crazy. I used to take the Mazda for a drive, now I'm on the 405 like it's fuck you, pay. We really sick of standing outside, had to push them all aside. It's what you get for trying to play me. I bet they make a movie when I die just to talk about my life. They need an actor to portray me. I ain't settling for nothing that be under an M. There's only one of me, there's 100 of them. Gotta listen close, I drop hundreds of gems. From the start, no, I wasn't pretend. With the world on my back, had to drop my own ego. Problems at the crib, we couldn't fix at Home Depot. Dad was on tilt, mom's off the vino. Room full of smoke like we lived in a casino. She know, day I moved out is when I opened my eyes. Looking for the truth like God show me a sign. I'm not religious or the holiest kind, but the blessings came to me when I opened my mind. I was running around the city, man, I knew I had to make some. Wasn't raised a thief, but if I had to, I would take some. Worked the Frito-Lay, I was writing on my break, son. Plotting on a record, waiting for the day we break one. Nah, I was just, no, I'm really busy, just wrapping up some stuff in the studio. Yeah, everything's good. I mean, it's just been a lot of, like, settling in and whatnot. Yeah. I'm not really sure when I'm coming back. I don't have any plans of it right now,
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve.
Yes, guys, don't make fun of the voice, all right? Your boy's all beat up, but I'm here, damn it. Derek, what's going on, bro?
I feel bad for you because I've had the throat issues. When you do this every single day, it's just part of what comes along with it. All I got to say is keep drinking them liquids, buddy. If you got to take a pee break, I'll sit here and I'll cover you. But, we got to talk some Yankees.
We do. We got a lot of things to talk about, man. Left field is really starting to heat up. And then, of course, today, Jason, part of the reason why I lost my voice is because I'm screaming Dominguez's home run. So probably one of the main reasons why the voice totally left. But if you guys followed me earlier on game season, you could tell the voice completely is different since then. Like, it's just completely went downhill. Frankie's laughing at me in the chat, so that's always fun. Thank you, Frankie. He loves us so much.
Frankie's still waiting to get that, deep voice that you get when you become a man. I hope one day, Frankie can get there.
Oh, man. It'll happen, Frankie. It'll happen for you. We promise. So I did put a quick poll in the chat for everybody about the starting shortstop and who you guys would go with. And we're going to go over that as we get into that. But first and foremost, guys, as I try to make it through this crap, I feel like the voice is just getting worse by the second. But I want to talk about left field because left field is really starting to pick up quite a bit. You have, and I guess the main question to you, Derek, is there really a competition, or is this job already Aaron Hicks?
Well, if you listen to the Yankees, they believe in Aaron Hicks. I did notice some things watching yesterday. A number of people tweeted about it. When he had that home run follow through, you're so used to that Griffey swing where he's got the one hand on the bat. He kept both hands on the bat. I saw somebody compare it to Joey Gallo. I thought that was an interesting comparison. But, Hicks still hasn't shown me enough. I watch Oswaldo Cabrera, and he's hit 2 monster home runs in 2 days from the left side. I see his energy. I love his arm. To me, he'd be my starting left fielder, but you got to think that the Yankees, with the investment that they have in Hicks, they want to give him every opportunity. Now, let's say Hicks wins the left field job on opening day. By no means does that mean he's going to be the starting left fielder when the playoffs begin. In fact, if he's hitting 220 by May 1st, and the power still hasn't come back, he's going to be replaced. But I do agree with you that the Yankees seem to be leaning towards Aaron Hicks. But yesterday was a very transparent move by the Yankees to put all 4 of those guys in the lineup the same day against the same pitcher and see how it shook out. And they all went deep. I thought that was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it was a good day overall. I obviously got the pleasure of calling that game, and it's funny because those guys all took over the game. Ortega's a guy that people brought in. They're like, you know what? At the end of the day, he's a sleeper. He's looked good. Willie Calhoun could hit. I don't think anybody is denying that. He can hit the ball. Is anybody good enough to change the Yankees' view of Aaron Hicks? I don't think so. To be quite honest, I sound like my grandmother. I don't,
dude.
I don't think so, Petey. All right. I don't think so, Petey. Go sit down.
Do you remember when Michael K's voice was gone for like a half a season and he wouldn't address it? It's like, it was like some of the biggest home run calls. It was like bottom of the ninth. Somebody hits like a game-winning 2-run home run. He's like, drive to left.
Yeah, that would be me right now, man.
You got it. And it's like, dude, just take a day off. Just take
it off, man. And I got people convincing me all the time, like, Pete, you don't, it's not even regular season. Like, you don't got to call the game, bro.
Right. I'm
like, no, I get it. But I agree with that is I do think the competition isn't really a competition, and it's Aaron Hicks' job. And the Yankees are going to just leave it up to him to lose it. And whether that's the regular season, like you said, I don't think he's going to make. Now, if he makes it the whole year, he's done very well.
Yeah.
Because they got enough to replace him.
The injuries are going to be an issue for him too. I mean, people forget because he stuck around. Right, last year we wanted him gone and he was sticking around the whole year. But usually he'll get off to a hot start and then he'll hurt himself around, May or June when the golf courses get really peak season. He tends to have a convenient hamstring injury. So look, I'm counting on somebody else playing left field when the playoffs begin. So I'm not really putting too much stock in Hicks, even if he does start opening day. And for a guy like him in spring training, I'm glad, at this point in his career, he's recognized that what he's doing isn't working and he's trying. I got to give the man some respect and some props for trying to make the adjustments. I want guys who want to get better. What do we always say about Joey Gallo? He wasn't trying to make adjustments. He would he was content to just do the same stuff every single time, strike out. And for Hicks to admit, hey, look, I wasn't so great last season. I need to maybe, have a good spring. I need to tweak some things. I like it.
Yeah, man. And at least he's not coming out saying, hey, 30-30 season, 40-40 season. He's not doing none of that. I just showed on the screen Rafael Ortega's home run, and he had a little swagger about him, man. He was like, he knows he's pretty good. A lot of people, again, thought it was a sleeper pick. The lefty bat, he's a good left fielder. So there's a lot of good there. But to be honest with you, again, I'm going to throw Willie Calhoun on. I got a question I got to ask you, and I'm asking you this question because you are, no doubt about it, this guy's biggest fan. And I got to bring it up because fans want to talk about this. And he's arguably the hottest guy in spring training right now when it comes to the New York Yankees. And that is, of course, the Martian Jason Dominguez. Serious question for you. Is there any way You personally, forget the Yankees and what they would do or wouldn't do. When you see Dominguez play, do you say right now he's probably the most safest pick for left field?
Well, I think it's interesting he hasn't played left field in spring. Now, if you can play center, you can play left. So it tells me that they're not really considering him for that job. But if you're asking me what I would do, just because I think the guy's a complete stud, I would have him in the conversation. And look, this is the conversation. Who else is having this conversation right now? This is the conversation, and we're gonna talk about it. I think that he's knocking on the door. Like, we talked in a previous episode about what do we look for, and it's not necessarily the stats. We look at the number. He's hitting 400. He's got a 917 OPS or something like that. Got a couple of home runs, but that's not what jumps off the page. You watch his at bats today, even in the ninth inning, he fell behind 0-2. He worked the count back even, and he got a good pitch. I mean, that was a strikeout pitch. That was a down and in slider, a back leg slider that you throw to a lefty to try and put him away. He was looking for it. You don't hit that pitch if you're not looking. You don't hit that pitch if you're not looking for it. And that pitch, that's 25 rows deep in Yankee Stadium, or it's in the upper deck. It might be in the
that ball is absolutely gone. I mean,
if you can do that from the left side of the plate, you've got to be in the conversation. Now, look, that was a double-A pitcher. He didn't do that off of Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer, but to me, I think it's interesting that today was the first cut day. And typically when you have the first cut day, anybody who's going to be starting below AAA goes down.
Yeah.
And Dominguez is still around.
Yep.
It would not surprise me if they just want to get him some more at bats this week and see what he looks like. Say, it's not unheard of for somebody to come out of nowhere in spring training, especially if they already have the raw talent. Albert Pujols, you probably remember this. You're a little bit younger than me, but you probably remember when he burst onto the scene.
Yeah, of course.
So he was not expected to break camp with St. Louis, but then I think he hit about 370 that spring with 6 or 7 home runs. And he won the job, ended up hitting a home run on opening day, I think. Yep. And the rest is history. Guys can do that. I mean, Julio Rodriguez came from out of nowhere to being one of the best players in the league last year.
Jeremy Pena.
Jeremy Pena. Greg Bird came from Double-A and came up to the Yankees and had a very good second half of the season. I think it was maybe 2016, something like that.
Right.
Now Greg Bird is a sad story because he had the injury. And I think if he didn't have the injury or really the series of injuries, ankle and shoulder, I think he would have been a good player. But Dominguez is built like a Buick. I mean, I just don't see him breaking down. If you're asking me, like, I'm GM for a day or GM for spring, I would probably tell Dominguez that, look, you're going to start in AAA. We're going to bump you up a level. We're going to challenge you. Just do exactly what you've been doing in spring training. We don't mind if you struggle a little bit, but you've got the physical tools. Keep having good at bats. You're going to play left field. And then if he's playing well, maybe in June or July when the team is dragging and we're always saying, like we do every year, this team needs some energy. This team needs a spark. You got the Martian walking through the clubhouse doors. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's the best idea for him. You know what I mean? Is like you just said. Give him the clear picture. If you're not, and we talked about this before, you broke it down very well. Give these guys the clear picture. What do we expect from you? If you do what you're doing here, you'll be up here later. So don't worry about, changing anything up. Be who you are, and you'll be right back here again. Now, to get the outfield out the way, there's a big thing and kind of a debate going on right now on Twitter about what the Yankees infield should look like. Now, you have Joe Sherman coming out saying, well, maybe the Yankees go ahead and they trade Peraza and they lock up Torres long term. I'm sorry, I'll say it right now. I'm not waiting on Volpe and Paraza. Those guys need to be in this lineup.
Yeah.
The Yankees are a better team with those guys. Personally, for me, I don't know how everybody else thinks, I'm trading Gleyber Torres now. Mm-hmm. I'm moving off from Gleyber, and that is my up the middle.
So I got your text about that where you were telling me that was going to be your plan. I've been thinking about it, chewing on it all day. And I'm trying to put myself in the head of Brian Cashman, which, not hard to do.
Right.
What I think he's trying to do is just hold on to as many cards as he can right now. There's no reason to go all in on anybody right now. If you trade Gleyber today and then next week, Paraza takes a fastball off the wrist and he's going to be out 2 months. Yeah. I think they're going to wait till the very last second. This is one of those situations that we've seen in the past where you might see a trade like a day or two before the season happens.
I can see that. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know if it's going to be Gleyber Torres. It's really going to depend on whether or not they think Volpe is ready. Yeah. I think just from watching, I think Volpe is every bit ready to be an offensive player.
He's ready.
He looks like a major league player. He's got tons of energy. One thing that I would like the Yankees to consider is getting him more reps at third base this spring. Yeah. Honestly, I would rather
it all yet.
The way that I would go is I would just DFA Donaldson. He's had bad at bats. He looks slow still. Swing terrible. Still looks slow.
Yep.
I just don't buy it. You're paying for him anyway. It's a sunk cost. I'd DFA him and I would let Volpe kind of learn from DJ as his, master apprentice relationship, sharing time at third base, ease him in, let him get, let DJ play a couple of days at third and, kind of show him how it's done, get DJ's bat in the lineup, then let him give Gleyber a day or two off at second base, keep Gleyber's 25 home runs in the lineup. And then you got your best defensive shortstop on the field in Peraza, and you can just let him play and be comfortable. And I think if you just kind of take the approach of letting him do his thing, the talent is just gonna. I mean, you watch him; he's so athletic, he's so acrobatic, he's great swing. I think the talent is just gonna eventually rise to the top, even if he gets off to a slow start or whatever.
Yeah, and I think my main concern is the Yankees like to wait, and it's like you said before, the Yankees like to go early in the year, no rush. Towards the end of the year, they'll probably be here. And we're going into the postseason then with our best. I just like the idea of, one, selling high. If Gleyber Torres comes out and struggles, you're not re-signing them, one, and what are you selling them for?
Yeah.
At that point, you're just giving them away. That's my concern. The Yankees have showed no interest at all of re-signing him or bringing him back. He's admitted there's no conversations. I don't think there will be. I don't think there's the point of it with all the young guys the Yankees have. I don't know what you do with third base. My infield, if I could really say everything's going to be healthy and you never could, judge that. You never know if that's going to happen. DJ at third, Paraza at short, Volpe at second, and of course Rizzo at first base. I think that's dynamic. I think it's dynamic.
And then who do you move Gleyber for? Like, what are you looking for in a package? You want to refill the minor leagues, maybe get some more pitching depth?
Yeah, man. I go that route immediately. I would look for upper level starting pitching.
Yeah,
potentially maybe double A and up, high A and up, if they're guys on that verge. But I would look to kind of sell high on them. Maybe you get 2 top 10 guys, maybe a team that got 3 or 4 top guys. You get maybe one of those guys and a few others. But I'm moving on from him, man. I mean, and everybody says, what if Gleyber? What if? We've been saying what if for how many years now with Gleyber Torres? I like Gleyber Torres, but I'm seeing ahead. It's the same reason why people go, what about Domingo Germán and Clark Schmidt? Well, Clark Schmidt got more years of control. Yeah. So that's why I think the Yankees are better off giving him that shot more than the Germán. It doesn't. Yeah. It's not that you don't want to look for this year. I'm not looking ahead. But is there really going to be that big of a difference in this year? Does many people in this chat think that if Gleyber Torres gets as many at-bats as Anthony Volpe, that Gleyber Torres is going to be that much better?
That's a good point. I think that, if you put those guys' stats up against each other over the course of a full season, let's say they were both playing second base, just hypothetically for the Yankees for a full season, I think they're both 20 home run guys. I think, they're both probably 260, 270 hitters.
Yeah.
I think, Volpe probably steals more bags and he fills that leadoff role, which you don't have. It's not a bad idea, but you'd have to get something good back from Gleyber because he's just too good a player to just give him away. I want a top 10 pitcher
100%.
On your, I want somebody 100%. Who can, and a starting pitcher at a high level, like
I agree.
Triple A, maybe even a lefty. Like I'm looking for somebody with, good hitter or good pitcher.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's my concern is that you do it now while he has that, hey, he had a 4 WAR this year, and he had this and he had that, and now's probably the time because, again, if this guy comes out and doesn't play well, what are you getting for him?
Yeah.
You're not going to re-sign him. You don't have the interest from what we see. But what are you going to, sell high on him? And I guess I go back to this. If you believe in these guys, the way they've told us, go for it. Yeah. Would any Yankee fan really be mad? Oh, my God. They got rid of Gleyber. Volpe's the second baseman. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think that, worst case scenario, let's say you move Gleyber Torres and then one of these guys just completely flops. You still have Oswaldo Cabrera as a guy who could fill in the infield. I've got him playing left field, but with the Martian coming as quick as he is, maybe Oswaldo could slide back into the infield. It's a good problem to have, right? You got a lot of talent coming up. There's still some areas where I think the Yankees could use some depth, and I think a trade is a good way to do that. I still think IKF has got to go. I mean,
he's going to be traded. I don't know how.
There's just no room for at-bats from him right now.
Yeah.
I would try and package, somebody who's looking or who values an IKF or a Gleyber Torres. I would try and package a Hicks or a Donaldson with it. And then maybe you don't have to get as much back. To me, losing that contract is enough. Because right now the Yankees are one trade away from going over that what's that threshold? The Steve Cohen threshold.
Threshold. Yeah.
And everybody keeps saying, including myself earlier today, which was, this team might look different at the trade deadline. Not unless they unload some salary. They're not, because they're not going over that.
They'll literally be the same team.
Yeah.
If they don't move some salary. So you kind of feel like that has to be in the plans. And I think IKF got a little over $6 million?
$6 million
next year.
But yeah,
Gleyber 9.
I think that he could be a decent third baseman for somebody. You want a Gold Glove? He puts the bat on the ball. He hustles. He's a likable guy. Look, you put him in like a Kansas City or someplace where he's just going to be a fan favorite and play with no pressure. He probably gets 185, 190 hits. Most of them singles.
Yeah.
And, he has a nice little major league career. Not meant to be a shortstop of the Yankees. I'm sorry.
No, I agree 100%. And like I said, I said this all off season. I'll say it again. I think creativity is still something that's missing with the Yankees.
Very much.
Being very, very creative. So, like you just mentioned, you package something to move somebody. You got to also decide on a lot of different things. We saw Everson Pereira today, who had a double in the gap. He's looking good in spring also. He's not getting the hype that Dominguez is, but he's looked very, very good. You got to start deciding and looking forward who is where and who are the guys we move and what area do we improve upon with trades.
I've got my eye on Pereira as the fourth outfielder, possibly, instead of Florial.
It's possible. I mean, yeah, Florial, I think he's the DFA'd. I don't think he's... he's on the final string here. I think he's definitely going to be the DFA'd. But they got some decisions to make. I don't know if it's decisions they make by opening day, unfortunately. I wish it was. But I don't see the Yankees doing that. Again, I got a feeling, I hate saying it, the only new face in the infield is going to be Paraza. And that's it. And then Volpe will be in AAA, probably called up in a month and a half, 2 months. I don't know if the Yankees bite the bullet on JD. I mean, the way they talk him and hype him up. I mean, I saw a couple of his at-bats. He's the same guy.
Same JD.
He can't catch up to nothing. He can't catch up to anything. And the Yankees just keep saying, hey, no, he's good. Force him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I would love.
I can't get over the fact I sound like my grandmother, but
it happens to the best of us. Hey, look, I mean, as much as you get out there and stream, I'm surprised you can ever talk, dude. Like,
yeah, last year my voice was dead, but I'll be all right.
Your voice has noticeably gotten deeper since I first started watching you.
I've hit maturity.
Yeah,
finally,
yeah, when you first started, and I think that when you first started, you would. I mean, you're a showman, right? You're somebody who enjoys entertainment, and you're a gregarious personality. And I think that when you first started, your octaves would just naturally be higher because you weren't, that's just how you would. But now that like you figured out your voice, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's just you've settled into a lower octave, and but you definitely sound like you could use some salt water gargling.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna have to. Like it's getting constantly worse. I'll be honest, guys. All rise might be up in the air as of right now. We're gonna see how I feel tomorrow morning, but all rise might be up in the air right now. I feel
all rest, all rest until you're all right.
Rest until I'm all right. That is correct. So I mean, other than that, there really isn't much else going on right now with the Yanks. I know we kind of talked about Dominguez a little ahead of time, but I mean, overall, you're saying that you would start Dominguez in AAA. You wouldn't even put it back to AA.
No, I think he's ready for. I think he's ready for the major leagues. Honestly, just seeing him, but I'd like to see him get some AAA at bats and just have that natural progression. It's like, face some slightly better arms than what you were seeing. And look, his numbers were not great when he first got to AA last year. Correct. It was the end of a long season. He was moving around a lot. Not great in the Arizona Fall League, but he has come to camp on a mission. Mm-hmm. He's healthy. He's strong. He's in the prime of his life. Sports are when you're young. You know what I mean? Like some of the best athletes of all time have had their best years in the ages of like 20, 21, 22. Think of guys like, Mike Tyson. Think of Mike Trout. Think of Tiger Woods. A lot of athletes just blossom early. Right. And the thing that allows them to become legendary is they stay healthy and they accumulate the stats and the wins over time. Dominguez, I feel like they're doing him a disservice. Well, first of all, I think COVID interrupted his development. I think he'd be, if he had that year to play in the minor leagues, no telling where he would be right now.
That's right.
But I think he's shown that he's developed quick enough that he could be in the major leagues this year. He's going to kick down the door. I'm not afraid to admit it. I mean, even as a content creator, this, you have to kind of set expectations for fans. Right. You can't say, oh, they're going to start this guy. The infield's going to be this and that. You got to be like, look, let's be realistic, or else people get mad at you and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to set realistic expectations by saying, he could start in AAA. I think it could happen. I don't think it will happen. I think the Yankees are going to start him in AA. But I said in a video
too. Yeah, I agree.
I said in a video today that if he keeps playing like he's playing, he's not going to be there long. Just like he wasn't at high A very long.
Can't.
He's almost ready.
Can I say this too about Dominguez?
Say whatever you want. It's your channel, buddy.
People got to remember this. A lot of times when it comes to Aaron Hicks, right? People say, but the Yankees are paying him. They're paying him. They're paying him. He has his contract. People shouldn't forget about this. The Yankees paid a shit ton for Dominguez.
Yes.
And they want to see that investment pay off.
Yes.
And I think the sooner the better. Makes sense.
5.1 million.
5.1 million. It's up to him to go ahead and make that next step. So, even if, and let's set expectations right now, and I'll throw them out there for you guys right now. I think Dominguez ends up in AA. But like Derek said, he could very quickly move up. And I think if he's doing what he's doing now, who's stopping him? Aaron Hicks? There's no friggin' way.
I'm going to say this. If on Memorial Day, Jason Dominguez is having a really good year,
you got to get him up.
He's got, 2 months, 2 months of minor league pitching. You get through the cold weather, get to play the summer with the Yanks. If he's playing well and he's showing what he's showing right now, and he's able to carry that forward, there's just no reason for him to be in the minor leagues. He's just too talented.
Yep. And guys, do us a favor, get those likes up. 53 likes over 160 in here right now. One more thing real quick. I like that idea that you brought up, set expectations. Anthony Volpe, I got to bring him up because I tell you what, everybody has heard what I've said about Volpe many, many times. I've told you guys before the scouting report came out with MLB that one of the main concerns was, he might struggle on sliders. Now, early in spring, you've seen a little bit of that, not a ton of it. Okay, good sliders. You're going to start seeing at the advanced levels. Anthony Volpe has played so well and plays the game so friggin' hard. It's hard to make an excuse to send him to AAA. Yeah. You could simply go, and if you're the Yankees, you could do this. He didn't perform well down there, so he wanted to do it again.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing you can say if you're the Yankees right now. Other than that, what are you going to say?
Well,
because of Josh Donaldson, we can't do it.
Well, position. If
He has no
yeah,
spot.
if they want, if they think Peraza is the shortstop, and you and I seem to be in agreement that he's the shortstop, you want him to get some reps at either second or third. You want him to play minimum a month, getting some. Yeah. You want him to play 25, 30 games, and get comfortable with the position, get comfortable with. And the reason you do that, it's not just about standing there and feeling comfortable. You have to shift. You have to, work the bag differently on double plays. Cutoffs are different. Relays are different. Backups are different. The way that the second baseman reads the signs from the catcher, I don't know how that's going to change with the whole pitch comm being on the belt type of thing. Yep. But, if you watch a second baseman, I know a lot of you go to games, second baseman and the shortstop particularly, they're in motion all the time. And they're constantly adjusting, and it's not a trivial thing. So he will need some reps at that. Personally, like I said, he's my answer to Bregman. I'd put him at third base.
I agree.
And let him take over almost immediately.
Yep. And I know some people on here were saying, well, Pete, wasn't there concern about his arm? People tend to forget that third base to first, when you're going into the hole as a shortstop to the right side, if you're right-handed, it's a further throw.
Yeah,
so that's definitely a further. Most of the time, you're making a further throw from short.
Momentum too. So, like, if you're shortstop, and you're going to your right in the hole, your momentum is going away from the bag. So you need a stronger arm to get to first base. And we've seen him struggle with that a few times. But if you're at third base and you're fielding from the same spot, your momentum is moving generally towards first base. It might be moving more towards second base laterally, but it's an easier shift towards first base. So that's just something to consider where it builds into arm strength. You want somebody with naturally stronger arm strength at shortstop than third base.
Now, let me ask you a question. If the Yankees ever went that route, would you consider re-signing Gleyber Torres?
Well, I got to see something out of Gleyber this year.
You want to see that back-to-back seasons.
I want to see him mature as a player. He's still pretty young. He still gets a little bit. Lackadaisical going down the line a little bit. He strikes me as somebody who might gain weight. You know what I mean? Like, I
can see that. Yeah.
Over COVID, like, you kind of looked at who gained weight, like who didn't have the impulse control to work out. Like,
right.
I want some. If I'm re-signing somebody, I've got to really believe in them, and I don't really believe long-term in Gleyber. I think he's going to have a decent year, but I wouldn't give him a 7 or 8 year deal. Definitely no longer than like 5 right now.
Yeah, me personally, I don't even think about it. There's no way I'm bringing Gleyber Torres back long-term. I know, we got some big Gleyber Torres fans in here, but nah, I'm not doing that. I think the Yankees are really set up for the future. And to be honest, what we're seeing is the future is now. The future is now.
Let me propose this to you. What if, Paraza wins the job at shortstop and Gleyber gets off to a hot start at second base, and Volpe's playing second base in the minor leagues and he's tearing it up. Then he's blocked. Then what do you do?
And that's when you got to really be a GM and decide.
Sell high. That's when you sell high.
That's when you sell
high. But it's hard to see. But imagine it's May and you're off to a really good start and Gleyber's playing great, and then you deal him for a guy who hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's why you gotta have the brass balls.
You gotta have the balls. But let me ask you this though. In a situation like that, you really got to have an understanding of what else is going on in the club. Yep. Is there an injury to a pitcher? Did one of the big guys go down? Is there an outfield spot open that maybe Dominguez isn't the only guy that can fill it?
Yeah.
Then maybe you do a Gleyber for another proven player that could play that position. And all right, well, we can move him because Volpe comes up.
Yeah.
So it all depends on really what's happening at that time. But it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting.
One final question for you, because, we had talked about this earlier. Is there now Brian Reynolds is still out there?
He is.
Would you now do Dominguez for Reynolds one up for each other? Straight up.
That's a tough one, man.
Because I remember before it was no, but I can see that he's growing on you. I can see it.
Yeah, Jason Dominguez, I'll be honest with you, man. Dominguez is growing on me. And again, people are going to say, oh, it's because you hit a home run. No, I'm not even thinking about the home runs. It's the professional at-bats.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you this, and I said this today during the Game Season Live. I don't like his defense too much. I don't like his read on the balls, and I know that's always been a big argument. I think he lost the ball in the sun today. I don't know if you saw that. There was a fly ball.
I didn't see it. I didn't. No, so I actually flipped the game off for a little while after Rodon got knocked out because I had to go get some groceries, and so when I came back just in time for Dominguez's home run.
Yeah, so there was a deep fly ball to center field, and he's running back for it, and the ball landed right next to him.
Oh,
so
that happened in the Futures game too.
And then there was another one too where he went back really hard, and then had to sprint in and make it at his feet to make the catch.
Well, that's fair.
That's been a conversation about him, is that he doesn't get good reads. Now, does that just mean that maybe he's not a center fielder? Who cares? I never expect him to be a center fielder, to be honest. But I got concerns with him, but I don't have as many as I had before.
Yeah.
Because one thing, the bat's going to come before everything else.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to get him here. His bat looks way more advanced than I thought. Way more advanced than I thought.
Yeah, his command of the strike zone is amazing.
That's the best part.
And like you said about the routes, in left field, really you could just position him a little bit deeper and say use your speed to go in on the ball because he got such a deep left field at Yankee Stadium.
And the thing is, you got Harrison Bader.
Yeah.
So people forget that. You don't need that great of a defensive left field.
That's a good point.
Got Bader there. The range is there. Bader covers that ground. So this guy just said, Pete, is your voice okay? I mean, I don't know if it sounds okay. I think it's pretty easy to tell. You know what I mean? I'm shot.
You're circling the drain there is what my dad would say.
There it is, man. I'm on the way out. Ross said I'm operating on reserve energy. You better believe it, man. I'm burning up. I got this stupid thing on. I'm burning the hell out of here. It's all good, man. Designated Spittaz are always going to be here for you guys, no matter what. Frankie said Pete's dying. You got that right. Every day, every second we're dying, aren't we? So
my goal, I told you this before the season, what's my goal in podcasting? All I want, my whole end goal in this, when I die, I just want a moment of silence at Yankee Stadium. That's the only goal.
That would be legendary. I don't know if the Yankees like me enough to do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've been kind of mean to them. Nowadays you can't be mean. So.
Sometimes you got to be mean. The truth isn't always nice.
I did scream epic. Epic Warriors right. I really went nuts when Dominguez hit the home run.
Oh, so, I got to get that. I got to get that in the Yankee Chronicles.
Yeah, I think that probably had a lot to do with it, man. So I think that, Jason Dominguez, thank you, my friend. I know you're out there somewhere. Maybe you're watching. Who knows? But, I went out. For that. I'm
going to get you a little Martian bobblehead or something for the backdrop if he makes a major leagues. Right. When he makes a major leagues.
Sounds good to me. But, guys, you already know the sorry to cut this episode a little short, guys, but I'm completely out of it. I'll keep you guys updated on All Rise tomorrow. I think it might be All Rest, as Derek said. That might be a good idea.
It's all good.
But other than that, guys, let me see if I can get it out. We will never come whack on a Designated Spittaz track. I might not be able to talk on a track, but we'll never come whack, all right? Derek, any last words?
Just really excited that baseball's back, and I hope you feel better, Pete. Next week we're doing this from the NYY Recap studio.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to give it away. Yes, talk about that real quick, please.
Yeah, so Pete's coming down. We're going to film this. So I don't know when you're going to release it, but I've been setting up, and we're gonna have a live episode. Well, not live. We're gonna have an in-person episode of the Designated Spittaz filmed in the NYY Recaps studio. So this is gonna be fun,
man. I am very, very much looking forward to that. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. And yeah, man. Until next time, guys. We're out. Talk to you soon. Adios. If I could find the thing, where's it at? There it is. I'm telling you, man.
Before it hits the front page, NYY News. For the latest Yankee trades, NYY